Good day. This is a vlog, not a blog. This is the reason for the title Wibbly Wobbly. The reason I'm doing this blog is because I can't type. Not that well, not that fast. I can't articulate as quickly as I'd like to. What I mean, translation via the fingers. It's happening up here very quickly. So I'm using Zoom, and I'm using the same background I use for all of my astrological sessions. And it shows planet Earth, and it shows the comet and so forth, and star fields. So we have the setting, we have the place. It's Friday, the 26th of August. And I was on holiday for 2 weeks in Devon, North Devon. And sorry for the lighting, but yeah, this is what it is. My studio's been packed up for months now because of the house sale. Yes, we're moving back to Cambridge from Littleport. But basically, what happened while I was down in Devon is I read 2 books, and I also got an attack of something benign paroxysmal, something that has to do with the inner ear, and it affects balance. It affects typing. It affects certain things. It doesn't affect eating, except, there is a tendency toward nausea. There is a tendency toward all this stuff. I've gone to see the doctor, so, I'm doing some alternative things, but I'm also doing the exercise they recommend to relieve this issue, and also on an anti-nausea medication, an emetic. I'm scheduled to go see the ENT department, that's ear, nose, and throat, to you novices, at Addenbrooke's, which is a big teaching NHS hospital in Cambridge. And I don't know when that appointment's going to be, but they're going to check for Menieres disease. They're going to scan my head, because even though I've had tinnitus most of my life due to being a rock and roller, being in rock bands, being in blues bands, and going to a lot of concerts, I've never had it this bad in the left ear, which is this one. You're right. And that's how it started back in July. But it got really bad from last Monday. Really bad. Throwing up. I hate to be graphic, but so may it be. I've got to tell the truth. Being this imbalanced, I can't drive. I can't walk straight. I feel like I'm drunk most of the time, except when I'm sitting down. When I'm sitting down, everything's fine. I'm getting around fine. I'm eating fine. I'm holding things down. And it's only in the morning when I feel very upset. So this vlog is about my condition, the reason I'm doing this video. It's also about this Sunday's radio show, which is inspired by 2 of the books that I read during my summer vacation down in Devon, which was amazing. The beaches were incredible. The sun was very, very hot. It was extremely hot down there. We've been experiencing heat wave, if you're not aware, in the UK, for weeks on end now, a dry spell, a drought, or drought. And one of the books was The Similarian by J.R.R. Tolkien, which is a reread. This is like the 3rd or 4th time I've been through it. And I'm basically reading it because of the Prime. Amazon Prime is coming out with Rings of Power, Lord of the Rings, on September 2nd. And I'm just rereading ahead of that because it's supposed to be about the forging of the Rings of Power and Sauron creating the One Ring. And it's also about the Akalabeth, Numenor. But anyway, the other book is called When We Are Human by John Zerzan. And John is from my old hometown of Eugene, Oregon, one of my hometowns. And he is an anarchist, self-proclaimed anarchist, But his book really was a tipping point for me. So this Sunday's episode is called "Why We Aren't Free." Why we aren't free. The welcoming the end of civilization, because in his book he advocates, and in his radio shows, which he does weekly, I think, he advocates for the end of what we have come to term our civilization, and why it has domesticated human beings to such an extent that we don't mind being controlled. We don't mind being manipulated. We don't mind. We don't understand the depth of our conditioning. So it's very, very good book. And I'm going to preview sections of the book. I'm going to talk about some of his concepts, some which are now some of mine. I'm going to preview this because of the tendency of human beings to prey upon one another, even though they're being preyed upon. But that's another story. The end result is that we live in a very dysfunctional society, dysfunctional world society. And I think anybody who has eyes in their head and a brain between their left and right ears can see what's going on around the planet. Now, that doesn't make it wrong, but it isn't very helpful for millions and millions of people to experience starvation or exile or being in a refugee camp or not being able to pay their bills. They have bought into, we have bought into, not they, we have bought into a system that is inherently predatory. So we have a choice as to whether we allow this to continue or not to continue. The owners, our owners who say they know what's best for us, foresee a future in which human being seeks to exist per se. That in transhumanism, we see our salvation through the digital realm. And John's view and my view and Eric Francis Coppolino's view and Marshall McLuhan's view and Eric McLuhan is that we are not as smart as we think we are. We are not as inured from our technology as we think we are. And so this was warned about in one, I think, Conversations of God, Book 3, 1997, was warned by Neil Donald Walsh, or God through Neil Donald Walsh, saying, you know, when human beings become their technology, that's usually the end of a civilization. And that is what we are facing right now. And so, you know, out of love, out of concern, I have to bring this message to you. I have to discuss the fact that we are not living in a very friendly situation. We're not living in a situation that actually promotes us to grow. So even though with ascension and all the things that go with new thought, new thinking, new age, whatever you want to call it, we are still hampered by this idea that we can be in this system and continue to evolve. So it's like you have to really be of the earth or not of the earth. I don't know how you want to say it. We have to be not of this world. We do need to be part of nature and part of the earth, but we do not have to be part of the world that was created, that we have been seduced into believing to be the only way things are or need to be. So what tells me when I was a child, what tells me that was something wrong with the world is borne out now. You know, it's through my studies with Ilana Friedland, it's my studies with John Zerzan, it's my studies with some of what Sadhguru says. You know, I'm still formulating my cosmology. I don't have it all figured out. Who does? All right, who does? it's really important that we don't get into a position in which we are telling others how to be in order to become acclimated to a dysfunctional system. Krishnamurti, Jadhu Krishnamurti talked about this, about it is no sign of good health to be wedded or to be inured to a very dysfunctional, sick society. And I think this is what we are seeing right now. We are seeing the kickback, just starting to see the kickback against the technology, against the owner's decision that the best thing for humanity is to become like the computer. Neither is it the best thing for humanity to become, I don't know, like some kind of superseded avatar. I think Jesus, or the historical figure of Jesus, tried to show us how to live within the confines of Earth, but not to be subject to the physical laws of this material reality. This is kind of where John is going, but he won't go with the with the superstructure of metaphysics per se as being the answer to humanity's problems. It's not. When you consider the number of people that have supposedly ascended, reached enlightenment compared to the overall total of people on the planet right now, it is infinitesimal, the number of people that actually become self-realized. So what does that tell you? Are we destined for this? I think we are, but we do it according to our evolution. Our evolution has been interrupted, has been hijacked. We have allowed ourselves to be hijacked, to believe everything about our institutions and about those who run them as being true. So who do we point the finger at? Do we point the finger at them, or do we point the finger at us in the mirror and say, okay, you're the guilty party? I think it's less about finding blame than finding a way through this. And that is part of my message today. And that's certainly part of my message on Sunday. In terms of us finding a way to live sanely, to live softly, to live gently, to live strongly, to thrive within nature, within the bounds and laws of this material reality, also at the same time exploring what our potential is as that which is part of the imaginarium of the cosmos. And, there's this thing inside of us that seems to be imaginative, creative. And at the same time, we're this fragile sack of bones and blood and organs. It's quite humbling when you stop and really look at yourself in the mirror, or stop and contemplate your reason for existing. It's quite humbling. So with that, I'm just going to say this is my first time at this video log thing. I apologize if it has not been of the highest quality, and it hasn't been of the highest production value that I would prefer. But, it's time. We're always battling and against the acceleration of time, or it seems like that anyway. And this is one of the subjects that John covers in his book, When We Are Human. So I hope you can tune in. If you can't, you catch the replay next Thursday on my website, or you can catch the whole day's replays of the shows on Monday. But whatever the case may be, in the shows going forth and podcasts going forth and the vlogs going forth, I'm going to talk about that which is real versus that which is potential. Not ignoring potential, but definitely more focused on what is the now, what is real right now. Being present, being totally, totally present. That's the main thing, isn't it? Are we present? Are we present? I don't know. Right now, I have the wibbly wobblies. I can be as helpless as a child, even though about a month ago, I was surprising many people by the fact that I'm 72 and I can still ride a bicycle. I can still navigate through a grocery store or market without slowing down. Now I'm humbled because I'm humbled by the human being in me saying to the body that I have, you need to slow down. You need to take stock of where you are and who you are. And that's what this is all about, is taking stock. All right. Take care. Much love. You can always find me online. Info is just below or just above, whatever, in this newsletter. Talk to you later. Bye.